Hello and howdy everyone, here to talk about the new film from Ron Howard, Rush. Really liked it. Maybe the victim of high expectations. I think it's one of the best trailers to come along in a while. It seems like a few months ago I saw the trailer for Rush, and after the movie I was watching was over, it seemed like I thought more about the trailer for Rush than I did about the film. So I was really pumped for Rush to come out. You know, I was really excited. Actually, I was excited for multiple reasons. Ron Howard has been a director that has been working throughout my entire life. I like most of his work. I love some of his work. And recently I think he's been in kind of a slump. So I thought that this was going to be a return to form for him. And I think it pretty much is. It's not like my favorite of his films, but I think it's definitely up there. Also, I'm a big F1 racing fan. I mean, I don't get to watch it that much, and I don't know too many people, but a few years ago there was a film, documentary called Senna, that was the basically kind of a portrait of the life of Anton Senna. And I fell in love with him, and I fell in love with the idea and the sport. And it's not like I follow it or anything, but I don't know. I like it. I'm not a fan of NASCAR at all, really. I don't watch NASCAR, but something about that Formula One, you know, that's, I think, kind of real racing. You know, what they show here in this film is absolutely intense. I'm going to give the film an 8. I have no problems giving the film an 8. It, you know, was pretty superlative. I've thought about it, you know, over the past few days. It's actually been a little bit longer than I like to record a review, but again, I'm still kind of thinking about it. Actually, I was kind of wondering if I was going to see it a second time, and I still might. I don't know if I have the funds right now. My budget's pretty tight these days, and time is also a factor. If I get the chance to see it again, I will see it again on the big screen, as I think it should be seen. I'll definitely rent it right away. So it's of that quality, and I did manage to think about it over the last few days. The only problem I have with it, and the only critique I thought of while I was watching the film, was what story are they trying to tell? You know, I didn't get a clear message. You know, I thought they did a good job of telling, like, I don't know, 4 little stories. You know, maybe even more, maybe 5 stories. But I wanted one big cohesive one. I think it's obviously the relationship between the 2 drivers. But I just kind of like halfway through this, you know, through the film, I was like, so what are they trying to tell me? You know, what's the main story here? Because they were getting a lot of, you know, they do a great job of filling in the details, you know, giving you the details of the life, but I just didn't entirely get the through way, the through story. Something to unite everything, other than that rivalry, which I suppose is the main idea of the story. But I thought that there could have been, I don't know, I thought it could have been more focused. There's definitely a lot of highlights to the script. The dialogue is great. All the characterization is pretty much perfect. I mean, you really get to know these 2 guys. The film is about the rivalry of 2 world champion drivers in the late 1970s. I believe the entire film takes place in the 70s. I think the time span is about 8 years that we get to see. Between oh gosh, I just forgot his name. Hunt and Lauda, Nicky Lauda and I can't remember his name. Hunt. 2 very different men, but the two are also the best at what they do. So they were always at the front of the pack, and they were always going pretty much head to head, with exchanging victories here and there. And their personalities, couldn't be more different. Hunt was very, outgoing, charismatic, hedonistic, whereas Lauda was, quiet, reserved, blunt, a bit of an asshole, and by the books, follow the rules, strict. So you had two very opposing personalities going head to head, pretty much literally. I thought the acting was fantastic. You have Chris Hemsworth, he's Hunt, and a new guy I don't really know too much, though he has two big films right now. Daniel Bruhl, which I think I'm saying his name right. Again, he's in Rush right now, and in a couple weeks he'll be also one of the main two guys in The Fifth Estate, the Bill Condon, Julian Assange film. I thought all the acting was superb. Again, I felt that I got to know the characters. I got to know the characters really well. The script does a really good job at examining their, mental states, their personalities. Again, I got to feel that I knew them and their relationship. I just felt like, again, I wanted a clear, message. I wanted a moral, and I do feel there is one. It in a way, it kind of feels just kind of like everything else, just kind of put up there at the end. But I just thought it should have felt more focused. I don't really know how else to explain it. But again, I'll just go back to that quote. Halfway through the film, I asked myself, I was like, what story are they trying to tell? It's very well directed. We have, I guess, some of the best special effects. I can't tell when they're special effects or when they're actually filming a car driving, or, if they have a small camera and they're showing tiny parts of the engine, or is that all computer animation? I don't know. The special effects are tremendous because you're never quite sure if you're watching something fake or something real, and it just goes to complete that illusion. This is definitely some of the best racing footage I've seen on the big screen. It really does a great job of putting you in that little cockpit. You're right there with the driver. You're pretty much inside the helmet with the driver, and at times it's kind of for me it was like white knuckle, like I was gripping the armrest, so it kind of is definition for a white knuckle thrill. What else? I really enjoyed it. The two, I'm trying to think of other actors. I know Olivia Wilde is in it for a little bit. She plays one of the many women that Hunt has. And then also the wife, the faithful wife, true love of Niki Lauda. I can't remember her name, but she was good as well. Just all the acting was very good. I can't think of any other actors off the top of my head. I did not see Clint Howard. I don't know if Ron Howard still puts his brother in every movie, but I did not see Clint Howard in this film. I don't know what else to say. I just really enjoyed it. It looked really good. The sound was great. I'm glad I thought of that. Great soundtrack. Again, this film takes place throughout the 70s. You got a great 70s soundtrack. Not only do you have a few, what I call radio hits, but you hear a lot of music that you don't hear that much. Some that I've never heard at all. A great soundtrack. I would maybe not, kind of in the vein of Forrest Gump. I thought that at the time, the Forrest Gump soundtrack was kind of, spectacular, and it's like that. It really captures the feel. Really, really good soundtrack. And score as well. I believe Howard Shore did the score. And Shore is always good. I can't tell you who wrote it, but again, the script is definitely what it does well. It does very well, and again, I felt that it needed to focus more on some throughout philosophy. I don't really feel that it nailed that, but yet it did nail all of the characters. All of the characters really feel like flesh and blood. You get to know them, you get to see them in every emotional state. It really paints a well-rounded picture of the two drivers. And Hemsworth and Brule, bring them to life. And Hemsworth does a great job. Niki Lauda is kind of the central character. Hunt is the poster because he's Chris Hemsworth, but Niki Lauda is pretty much the main character. He's our narrator. He starts the story, and he also ends the story. Also, the film ends. I don't feel that this is a spoiler in any way, but we get to see, and I kind of like this. It really kind of nailed it. The actors, transition into the real people. Like you're watching Chris Hemsworth, raise his arms in victory, and then it cuts to, like rather immediately, the real Hunt doing that same exact thing, at the same exact time. And then again you see Lauda, and then you see the real Lauda. And I thought it was, very interesting. At least it really kind of, wow, drove that point home that it was a true story, that these are real people, and that they had everything to do with telling this story. And then you actually get to see Niki Lauda as he is today. I really enjoyed it. I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to say about it. Great special effects, great, racing. I do kind of feel that this is slightly personal for me. I mentioned that, I am a fan of F1 racing, and I'm more of a fan of the racers. Anyone who can, face death. I think, Lauda said something like every time they race that there's something like a 27% chance that they could die, at that day, on that day, during that race. You get in that car knowing that you have a 27% chance of never getting out of that car again. And that's intense to me. That is sport. That is sport. Whenever a character talks about, just life and why are we alive? What is the purpose of being alive if not to face death? If not to put everything on the line? It's just like they're reading from my journal. Also, there's a scene in here where Niki Lauda, again, he talks about how happiness is death, and that happiness and complacency is evil, and again is tantamount to death. And any time that a character says that happiness is death, that's like where did they read that from my stuff? Why did they break into my apartment? What's going on here? So I do feel somewhat of a kinship to that philosophy, to that way of looking at life for some reason. So there were times in this film where it just felt like my heart was, put up there on the screen. So that's kind of, a good feeling. Maybe I wish it weren't so around such intense, feelings, but they're, how I feel nonetheless. So it was kind of, reassuring. It's like, wow, someone else thinks like me. So I really enjoyed that aspect. I just like F1 racers. I like racers. People who put their life on the line, to do what they believe in and what they love and what they feel that they're born for. That's what I hope is my life story. So I enjoyed that aspect of it. I just enjoyed the film. I thought it was really good, kind of a return to form for Ron Howard. Great acting, well directed, great special effects, white knuckle action, great soundtrack. Just wish that the script was a little more focused, though it did offer a pretty much complete portrait of everyone we meet on the screen. Still a fantastic screenplay. Really just a fantastic film. I think that's pretty much all I gotta say about it. That's Ron Howard's Rush. Give it a solid 8. Thanks much.